Welcome to Airgun Academy, presented by Pyramyd Air, your online airgun resource. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to fill a PCP. In episode 37, I talked about how to fill a PCP from one specific tank using a specific type of fitting. Air has to go from the tank at high pressure into the gun, which has lower pressure. When you're filling a gun, there's a couple of simple things to think about. Where's your air coming from? How is it moving over to the gun? And what coupling goes into the gun? Where does the air come from? It can come from a number of places. It can come from a scuba tank. It can come from a carbon fiber tank. It can come from a hand pump like we covered in episode 10. Regardless of where the air comes from, there is some valve involved. And I want to talk about that because this is a little confusing. These tanks or hand pumps all have an outlet valve. One common type that you'll find on scuba tanks is called a K valve. It's really not a valve, it's a connection. It should be called a K connection. It sits at the top of the scuba tank. You need a yoke to connect to a K valve. The yoke goes over the K valve and you tighten it and make the connection. There are fittings that have threads only. This is a DIN fitting. That's a German standard. This is another DIN fitting. The brass one is shorter than the steel one. That's because the brass one is a 200 bar DIN and the steel is 300 bar DIN. We're only talking about interconnectability here, and there is a holy grail, and that holy grail is right there. 1/8 BSPP threads. What are they? Well, 1/8 refers to the hole in the pipe. There are 28 threads per inch. The threads are parallel pipe threads. That's where the PP comes from. 1/8 British Standard Parallel Pipe Thread. Now here's why you care. It's not that you need to know all that. It's that when you buy connections, they probably will be threaded 1/8 BSPP. Now you know what it means, and you know that your connections, whatever they are, have got to attach to 1/8 BSPP, or they have to attach to your air supply. Really not that much to know, is there? Let's talk a little bit about air hoses. Air hoses come with various pressure ratings. Here's a big old rubber covered hose. It has a pressure rating written on it right on the outside, 5,800 PSI. That is the working pressure this hose is rated to carry. There's a little hose. It's so little the hole that goes through it is also little. We call it a micro bore. Because the hole through the hose is small, even though there's a lot of pressure, the hose material doesn't have to be as thick as it is on this big guy. Also, for you pump users, when you get done and you bleed your hose and you're using a micro bore, you lose less air if you're using a micro bore. You can put the same pressure through a micro bore hose and it flows very fast. You don't have to worry about that. This is a steel mesh hose. It's got armor of steel mesh. It'll have a rating, and they come in different ratings, and it isn't marked on this one. Typically, they're around 5,000 PSI. This mesh does two things. Number one, it's around the rubber. It doesn't allow it to expand if there were a weak spot in the hose. Number two, if the rubber tried to blow up, the steel mesh would contain the explosion. All right, let's talk about fill connections. There's all kinds. My favorite is the Foster Quick Disconnect. This is the female side, and it has a slip ring that's under spring pressure. Most modern air guns have this kind of connection. The male side is the fill nipple, and you just put the two together and the little ring clicks and you're all set to go. Some companies are still using the probe type of connector. The probe is inserted into a hole on the gun, and then you fill it and then bleed the air out and pull the probe back out. There's nothing wrong with a probe. It's a fine filling system. The only thing is, it's different than a Foster, and Foster is turning out to be the standard. The simple way to make sense of all of this is this. You've got air in a source and you've got to get it into a gun. What does it take to get it there? You have to come out of your air source, tank, hand pump, whatever, go through a hose and into a gun using the right coupling. You have to make sure that all your fittings work. Use your salespeople to help you out on this because they've done this a time or two. In this episode, we've covered how to make air connections with a PCP tank or air source and guns. We've talked about all the kinds of things that are involved. And there are three things really that you need to concentrate on. Number one, where is the air coming from? Number two, how does the air flow to the gun? And number three, which kind of connector is on the gun? We looked at air source connectors, we looked at K-valves, we looked at 200 bar DIN valves, we looked at 300 bar DIN valves. I call those old valves, but I know that you know they're connections. We looked at different hoses, the ratings that you'll find, pressure ratings on the hose. We looked at micro bore hoses, we looked at steel mesh hoses, and we looked at the common fittings on the end of those hoses, which is what? That's a test. It's a 1/8 BSPP. There it is with male threads, and there it is with female threads, 1/8 BSPP. That's the episode. Thanks for watching.